Hey, everybody. You are listening to part one of a two-part interview that I had with the lovely Amy Russell. We talk about so many amazing things today, and our conversation carried on so naturally that it ended up lasting a little bit longer than 25 minutes. So we split it into two so that you can listen at your ease. Enjoy. Hello, everyone. I know I say this like almost every time, but very happy to have a guest on the podcast today. We have Amy Russell. Hi, Amy. How are you?
Hello, I'm doing good. I'm doing good.
Oh, I hope you guys go find the YouTube video of this too, because I adore Amy. I love her energy, everything about her, the way you move when you talk, all the things, just so much fun. And Amy is a graduate of my trauma informed coach certification program. So we're going to talk a little bit about that today, but we're also going to talk about just fun stuff that Amy and I like to talk about, her gifts. We could say coaching, we could say healing, like the healing work that she does, but I don't want to give it all away. So I'll let more of that come from Amy. So, Amy, I do like to check in with, I always like to ask this question with people that I interview. So please go ahead and introduce yourself however you want to. Also, if you are open to it, tell us something fun about you that not a lot of people know about.
Okay. My name's Amy Russell, and I am a native of Southern California, and I'm living here in Utah. Our family's lived in several states, specifically the Pacific Northwest, specifically.
Okay, they're going to say
Uh,
specifically.
we love that area, but yeah, we're here in Utah. It's where my husband's from. We've got 5 boys. We're always moving. It seems that's like a big part of our story, but yeah, I don't even know what to say. I love being alive. I'm learning how to love being human. And we could probably talk about that more, but let's see. What was the other thing you said? One thing that no one would know about me. Uh,
Something fun about you. Yeah.
something fun.
Or not fun. It doesn't have to be.
Yeah. Let's see. I love fairies. How about that?
Oh, oh, I love that so much. And I'm like, we were joking before we started recording. We were like, we could talk. You could just ask Amy all the questions about fairies and let it another podcast episode, but we'll hold that.
Fairies, I literally like when I was a little girl, I loved to go out in the backyard and I would sing and I would like make little potions. We had a little red wagon, like throw in leaves and whatever I could find in the backyard and just, I'm going to make this potion and I was like super imaginative, totally out there. And I have to say that I stepped away from that for a good chunk of my life. And I feel like I'm coming back into it. And it's actually becoming a guiding energy, guiding force for me to connect with that again.
Hmm. I love that you bring that up because I was just talking to my certification group that they're getting pretty close to graduating. And today was a supervised peer coaching day. And there was something that came up last week about gifts, intuitive downloads, and things like that we dialed into because I really do think a lot of this work is about supporting people and having a contextual understanding of their mind, their body, their soul, their nervous system, trauma, childhood wounds, and all of that. And a lot of it is like geared so that we can dial into these intuitive parts, these anchor into this intuitive knowing and live life from a soul led space, which to me, the more people that do that, that's what will heal the world because then we can all know what our earth missions are, go in that direction.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I was like, I did not know I was going to share this on the podcast today, but because we talked a little bit about that last week with them, I gave them some ideas today of like different types of spirits that can act as guides for us. And one of them was fairies. Where's it? I can't remember how she worded it, but it might have just been fairies, but angels, ancestors, elemental spirits, star beings, gods, goddesses, even if it's a god or goddess of maybe you weren't raised around some part or aspect of maybe a god or goddess from a different culture. Creative guides, healer guides, teacher guides, ascended masters, spirit animals, flowers or trees, and groups of beings. And this list that I'm pulling from, it's from a woman who has written books that have basically come to her from downloads from groups of beings. right? So I think one of her books, she said it was the Magdalens that came. And then there was, I can't remember the name of the other group, but so I love that for you and for anyone listening who's been curious about that because it came so naturally as a kid. And then what
Yeah.
happens is it gets societally stripped from us. So I just love that you're allowing yourself to like return, right?
And I have to say, it it wasn't easy. It's because I've been on a rediscovery of myself for a number of years, and in 2020 got kicked up a notch or 2, intensified. And a lot of things that I leaned on, my religion, that all just fell apart. It unraveled. And so that threw me into this dark night of the soul, and that's scary. That is where I began to find myself, even though I felt like I was feeling around in the dark. If you've been in like a cave or just a dark room and you're trying, I dropped the keys or I dropped this, and you're like feeling around for it. You literally have to heighten all of your senses because you can't use your eyes. And that's what it felt like. I can look back on it and I can describe it like that now, but it was scary. And to feel these like beckonings, these invitations to start connecting with these little interests and passions and excitements and delights that I had when I was little, it was like, is that okay? And
Mhm.
because it did challenge a lot of what I grew up with in my religion or the religion of my childhood. And yeah, it can take some courage to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. And what was it for you that supported you in finding that courage to do?
That's a really good question. I don't know if I've ever really thought of that. I think I've always been a spiritual person. And so I already have a strong connection with my heart. I didn't know that because, again, it was framed in a religious context, but it was just like this little push. And it also helps too. Like, aside from that, my husband was on the same track. So we were able to have a lot of good conversations. And so there were lots of just little pieces. It was almost like this too, finding pieces to a puzzle I didn't have a picture to. I guess I could actually sum up my life as a whole. But this is a good segue though, Lindsay, just like when I was at a point and you and I had met each other in that Marco Polo group. And then I learned about you had your trauma informed coaching. And like that simmered in the back of my mind for a while. And then it was like, what, the morning of or something? I think it was like, or the night before. I don't, it was like so Indiana Jones style where, and I'm going to come in now. I'm here. I'm doing this. I will say that also learning about the nervous system and how it caused me to react in life. I don't know if that's the right way to put that, but I had no idea that my nervous system was running the show for most of my life. And understanding that I had been living in fight or flight for like most of my life. And then beginning to realize, oh, here are some tools now that I can start using to calm down. And what does it mean to feel grounded? That definitely helped me begin to step further out of my comfort zone into who I truly am. And yeah, yeah, I'll just that was
Yeah.
beautiful.
No, I love that so much because it really is the crux of what I do. And like the goal for people is to help them anchor into more of who they are. And a lot of times we've got to develop out a connection with our own body, the unique ways that our body speaks to us and understand the language of our body, understand the difference between intuitive hit and a trigger or some sort of nervous system message and just how understanding the blueprint of like how our nervous system makes sense of information today, sometimes based on past experiences, even if it's not necessarily true now. And so just helping people to tease all of that out so that they know what is what when stuff comes up, so that we're not leaving marriages out of fear and confusing it for divine or confusing it for
Yeah.
spirit.
Oh, I
Um,
bet okay, yeah. Did I just
Go
cut you
ahead.
off? Sorry.
No, go ahead. What were you gonna
No,
say?
I'm like, that's huge. Learning how to discern between, like you just said, like that's I can't say enough of how what are the words to use for this? It's like clarifying. It like I've said before, it's grounding, but being able to go, oh, I understand. It is building that relationship with my body. I understand what my body is saying right now.
Mhm.
And I understand that this is a fear response. Okay. And being able to like be able to pull them apart, like you said, tease out. It's like pulling it apart and going, oh, I see that so clearly now. And it took me practice. It still does, but that is so empowering in this process of trying to understand who I am, where I'm headed, and all the things that are connected to that. That's massive. And especially coming from a high demand religion where it's all about the outside authority. I remember so many times just being like confused of is this me or is this the spirit or God or whatever? And really having a tough time trying to make decisions because of it. Like I had no inner authority. And now going through that deconstruction and like reclaiming myself on in so many ways and physically with my body, like that's wholeness. That feels like wholeness to me.
Mhm.
And it really does. It clears the eyes and I'm able to discern with so much confidence now. And yeah, I'm still human. I'm still working on things. But I've come a long way though. I've come a long way.
Yeah.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Oh, well, you're so sweet. No, but and it's been so fun to just be a part of for me on my end to see it all transpire because if Amy, you just know like she has so many different gifts, spiritual gifts. Could we say like like earthly gifts? I don't know. It's to me, it's all spiritual, but like you have so many gifts of insight, but you're also like very smart on top of it all. It's just been fun to see all of it transpire and come through you as powerfully as it does now. Cause it really does when you speak with knowing or when you have downloads and things like that. It's really cool to see. It's very inspirational. Oh,
It'd
I
be kind
love
of
it.
fun to actually look at the first call with you guys, like with your group and see myself. I think that'd be fun.
That would be
Just
fun.
like,
One of my favorite one of my favorite Amy memories during the program, and you tell me if we need to edit this out. Like somebody getting coached, no idea who it was, but they were getting coached, and in some way they had been this person in a I would say Amy's opinion, but probably mine as well. Like they had been wronged. There was something there, like boundaries being crossed, ignored, dismissed, something like that. And when I coach someone, I usually pin myself and them. So I mainly see them and I can see all the students. And I could see Amy bouncing
no.
around, just mad and just waving her hands and what? All of this stuff, like leaning forward and back. And I don't think the person getting coached saw it, but I just remember like thinking, okay, I love how kinetic this person is. I love how much that like she feels. And I just love how you feel for people too, like that real caring, like it all just comes through. But it's also a really fun memory as well.
I totally thought I was off camera. So I'm like, I'm just going to feel. And I remember feeling, I think it probably connected with some of my own issues. And so I was feeling it pretty deeply. But yeah,
Yeah.
that's funny that you remember that.
And it can tap into that collective, and I will say like sacred feminine rage, so that
Yeah.
people think rage is always a bad thing, but so many people time over time have been dismissed and discounted for simply being a woman. And so I think we do feel that collectively. And so it just felt like you were feeling that on this person's behalf. But it's one of my things I just love about you. Just the way that you express yourself through movement and it's really fun. So Anyway, we'll get back to we'll get back to what we were talking about earlier. But so as far as like you coming into that knowing and the COVID stuff and different things like that, I'd be curious to know like your because one thing you said in the beginning of the call or earlier in the call is how this trauma informed coach certification helped you deepen and develop out these gifts that you have, these spiritual gifts that you have that you now use to help people, which is so amazing. And so I was just going to ask you personally or professionally before you signed up for the program, were there problems? I can't even talk. Before you signed up for the program, were there any problems you were noticing in your life or anywhere else? And what did that frustration look like for you as you tried to solve that specifically? And then as you did learn more of these tools, how did that help you with that? And the reason that I say this is because, or the reason I'm asking is because in the program, everybody brings like a big relationship to the table that they want to look at or work through. And it can be a person, a place, a thing, an institution, organization, money, an experience, a set of experiences. And were there things like that happening for you when you signed up? And yeah, what did that look like for you as you tried to solve that without having this understanding of the nervous system and trauma and the body and how it all connects?
Yeah, like reaction, like very reactionary. Yeah, I was probably still in the throes of deconstructing. So a lot was coming up with relationships, familial relationships. And that's beginning to really understand and owning the word trauma. That was actually a part of my story. And it's funny, having been through this, I call a healing journey for all these years, I was definitely learning a lot about myself. But like I said, like this is where it all was coming to a head, really getting down to the bottom and crux of things. Let's see, your follow up with that question was like how I saw it begin to change. Is that what you asked?
Yeah,
Okay.
as you like started to understand these systems
Yeah.
differently and how they work together and everything.
There's a lot of, let's see, let me see. I'm trying to like figure out how to word this because there's just so much. Peace is the word that's coming to me because I was beginning to see me. I think I didn't understand that there was a lot of entanglement, enmeshment. I had learned that to a degree, but I understood there was some codependency that I was working through, but I didn't understand the enmeshment part. And, and that like complex trauma was the culprit and beginning to this is what this is cool. Learning about my nervous system, I felt like I don't know, I was learning about me, obviously, but it was like seeing myself with a different mirror. And I was learning, I think, how my body was trying to speak to me the entire time. And let's see, how I was why I was in fight or flight. Yeah, I don't know if I'm answering your question, but it was beginning to pull things apart and I can't like land anything specific. But yeah, it just felt like I was beginning to see myself more clearly and that enmeshment that I was in with these
Mhm.
familiar relationships and being able to like, oh, this is yours, this is mine. And I now see how you're reacting, and I'm choosing not to react. And this is, hello, boundaries. That I, you're saying with, sorry, the boundaries. Okay, I had not lived with boundaries up until probably starting the certification. That's huge. Like everyone is listening. I was like in my late 40s. Hello, that long of my entire existence without boundaries. I didn't know what boundaries were. I did not know what they were. I always thought that they were, and I was a like chronic people pleaser. So I was like, oh, I'm not going to do that. And I'll hurt their feelings. I had no idea that how boundaries were they were an act of love. They were an act of self love. So through that process of your classes and the groups, I was beginning to understand how, like, what boundaries were, how they felt in my body, and how to articulate them.
Mhm.
Huge. Like
Yeah.
that alone, that piece of the puzzle right there, game changer for me.
Yeah. Oh, I love that you share that too. And tell me, I don't want to speak for you either, but as you learned about that and connected to your body in that, did it start becoming very clear? Oh, boundary crossed. Or like when you self betrayed, did you notice like a difference in your bodily cues or sensations that kind of spoke up when you were maybe self betraying or ignoring boundaries or when your boundaries were just being violated or ignored?
Oh my gosh, yes. And that was beautiful to be able to start recognizing that because that was like reclaiming myself. And
Hmm.
the feeling to reclaim oneself is the most wonderful gift I think anyone can experience in their
Yeah.
life if they've never had it before. Like,
Yeah.
it's like drinking from fresh, clean water that you didn't know was there.
All right, that's it for part one. But stay tuned for part two, where we get into some other really, really fun topics that I love talking about with clients and friends and all the things. This was such a blast for me to be here interviewing Amy, and I'm so glad you got to be a part of it.